Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to 7.3.2 Entropic Prowess and Power Reserve. This is one of the paradox parts in 7.3.2. Now here, to gain a paradox charge, you need to use a special attack, either you or the defender. And to remove the charge, you have to knock down the defender. And you have to stay between 3 and 9 charges, 3 and 8 charges, to avoid the 200% modified damage to you from the defender. As soon as you break the paradox, go above 9 at 9 charges, you get that damage. Now, if you look at the nose, there's a lot going on. There's Power Reserve, there's Paradox Special, Combat Deja Vu if you use the same type of basic attack twice in a row, that will give prowess to the opponent, and Quantum Entangle. Now, to sum it up very easily is to bring a champion with big specials. For example, Colossus, for example, Hyperion, Professor X, and build up to 4 charges and then start throwing them. The Power Reserve will keep giving you back power and you can just spam your specials. So stun lockers like Ronan, like Spider-Man Stark Enhance with mild synergy, and also somebody like Gambit will work really well. You can also use power control champions. I went with Colossus and Black Widow Clairvoyant with synergy for each, and the defenders are also pretty straightforward. The hard one is going to be a Nova and going to be an Arkus, so make sure you bring a counter for that. One power controller and one armor breaker would be great here. And from the bosses, we're gonna go attempt again boss B, that is going to be Old Man Logan, because he's one of the easier ones. So if you're going to do a difficult path, go with the easier boss so you can balance it out. And my mastery setup's right in front of you. It's the same. It's going to be defense and utility will remain the same. The only one I switch between is going to be with suicide and non-suicide. So this one I'm going to go with non-suicide ones. So yes guys, let's jump right into the path. But before I do, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the post notifications. All of that really helps you out a lot. So the first defender is going to be a King Groot, who is very easy to handle. You just need to be careful about his furies. When he has those furies, he can shrug off the debuffs. Now you can counter that as well with bringing champions that do not care about the purify. So for example, you can bring in Apocalypse here. You can also bring in White Mags with the pre-fight ability. There's also going to be a Kingpin. So if you have a White Mags and that makes you more comfortable, I would suggest you to bring him, so you can use it with a hero or a metal champion, and you can use that pre-fight ability. So having said that, you will notice that I will have a lot of power every now because of Power Reserve, and I've also brought in a synergy with Doctor Strange. So at the end of SP2 there is a chance that I will be able to stun the defender just like that, and again I can just rinse and repeat that and keep throwing my SP2s. And I am in my power control phase, so I am going to power control the defender when I'm gonna throw my special, and I'm gonna gain power when with it as well. So I can just keep repeating my SP2. Now you don't have to worry about the paradox because I already have 3 charges, and when I use my special I get 1 paradox charge, but at the end of the special the defender is knocked down, so I stay at the same number of charges unless the defender will throw a special. Because of the stun, I do not give him any chance, and I keep throwing my SP2, and that cycle keeps going on, and he like this you can easily kill him off. You can also switch to the extra damage phase, that is going to be with incinerate immunity, but I like keeping it to the poison immunity phase, so I can control his power and I can get power myself, and those stuns also really help clear off the fight very quick. So Black Widow Clairvoyant with Doctor Strange is a really good synergy here. It gives you back-to-back stuns and openings to go in again and keep throwing those SP2s. Next defender is going to be a Night Thrasher. Again, he's not very difficult. His specials can be easily evaded. I've brought in a Colossus here with Omega Red synergy. So if you're not aware, with Omega Red, every armor up I have on Colossus, my damage will be increased by 2%. So every time I parry, I get an armor up on me. For all the mutants on the team, I also get an permanent armor up. So what I'm gonna do here, I'm just gonna build up to an SP2, go to as near as to SP3 as possible, and then have those armor stacks on me, and then use my SP2. And because there is power reserve, I will get them back to back, and with 2 or 3 power SP2s, you can easily bring down Night Thrashers. He's not a difficult defender to deal with it at all, and Colossus is quite tanky, so you'll be able to carry forward all of his paradox charges on the upcoming fights as well. Next defender is going to be a Nova. Now he is going to be an annoying defender. You will need to have somebody who can nullify or armor break him and keep that armor up away. And also he keeps gaining power whenever he dashes into you, or the amount of distance he travels. So my choice is going to be a Black Widow Clairvoyant again. Now I already have paradox charges carried over from the last fight, so I don't need to worry about that. And again, I start again with the same thing. I have the synergy with Doctor Strange that gives a stun at the end of SP2, and I can just keep throwing my SP2s here. I did get a lot of power there, so I used an SP3, but then the whole thing is you can just cycle and repeat, and you have power reserve with you. Now, if you have champions like Gambit, or champions like Stark and Han Spider-Man with Miles Morales synergy, or if you have Ronan who have guaranteed stuns on their SP1, you can use them as well. And you can just use the power reserve and keep throwing that SP1 and keep stunning them over and over again, and they will just die in stun lock as well. So that is a good cheese as well. For me, Black Widow Clairvoyant is the one. Even if I lose health, I can just quickly switch to the bleed immune phase, and I can get back a lot of health by using a special. Now on this part, you can use suicides as well, because the Black Widow becomes more potent when you're using suicide. So it's your choice, guys. But again, very simply, have the charges up to 4, have an SP2 ready, and just keep throwing them back to back, and you can bring down the defender easily. Next defender is going to be a Kingpin. Now Kingpin will shrug off most of your stuns unless you have a White Max pre-fight ability, or if you're using Apocalypse, or if you have the Mastery pacifier 3x3, he will not stun off all of them. You will get a chance to use a parry heavy into a special. So until then, just build up to your SP2, have as much as power just below an SP3, and keep parrying him. Even if he shrugs off the parry, you will get armor up on yourself, and that will help you do a lot more damage. So wait for it, and then once you parry him and the parry sticks and you have 2 bars of power, use your heavy and then throw your SP2. It will barely take 1 or 2 SP2, and he will die very quick. You can do the same with other champions, like Ghost works really well here. Also Professor X works really well here. Apocalypse is a good option here. I try to stick to champions with class advantage because of the extra damage you get and the extra armor. So yeah, you can use other class champions as well, however you choose. And then we have the most annoying defender on this path, that is going to be a Vision Arkus. Because of his power gains and his specials, his SP1 is easier to deal with, but his SP2 is quite annoying. And also he throws specials very in quick succession, so all of those charges will add up on Paradox. So the best way to deal with him is whenever he throws an SP1, swipe back and use a heavy attack. So he uses a special one, you will get a Paradox charge on you, use a heavy attack to knock him down. That will reduce it by 1, so you can keep the Paradox charges in control until you get an SP2 yourself. And once you have that, you can just start spamming that. And because I'm using Black Widow Clairvoyant, I really don't care about the Paradox damage that I'm gonna get, because I can heal back up with my SP2 while in bleed immune phase. So you can do the same with Rogue, you can do the same with Wolverine, but they are not the best options against Vision Arkus. Actually, Rogue can work. So it's upon you what defender you bring, what attacker you bring in. Some good options are going to be your Doom, also armor break immune champions, for example like Colossus. With Omega Red you can also bring in Human Torch. Another really good is going to be Kingpin with Mr. Sinister synergy, because that will apply power lock on the opponent, and also if you get any debuffs on you, Kingpin can shrug them off. So that is also a really good option to go here. This is going to be a difficult defender. Maybe this fight does not show you the complexity of it, but you will have to play slow. You will have to check on his power and make sure you don't get any cold snap or armor break on you. But yeah, this is going to be the most annoying one in the whole path. And the last one would be Nick Fury. Bring in a mutant champion, very important, so you can keep those tactical charges down. Once Nick Fury does not have those tactical charges, it becomes a much easier fight. Now already I'm using Colossus. I healed up him a little bit. I have the Paradox charges built from the last fight, so I don't have to worry much about them. I'm trying to push him to an SP2 all the time, and because there is Power Reserve, it will be much easier. And I'm gonna keep throwing my SP2s as well to build up armors and also do a lot of damage to him, because I have Omega Red synergy. So again, when you plan for this path, make sure you plan for Vision Arkus and you plan for Nick Fury, because they're going to be the two limiting fights here. For me, it was Black Widow Clairvoyant for Arkus and Colossus with Omega Red against Nick Fury. It took me 2 specials to break his LMD, and now he already has 2 bars of power, and I'm going to push him to an SP2 again and wait for him to get down to 30% from his self-inflicted damage, and then I'm gonna throw a few SP2s and kill him off very quick. So it's not an easy fight, but make sure you plan it out with your attackers when you plan for this path. This is probably the one of the harder parts of 7.3.2, so it will not get any worse than that. So just make sure you have the right champions to deal with him. So the boss fight is going to be against an Old Man Logan with Lazarus, Arrogance and Bubble Shield. So He can be a bit tricky, but if you bring in the right champions, you can kill him off very quick. So for example, Magneto works really well because of magnetism. That's who I'm gonna use. Just build up to 40 prowess and throw an SP3, and just be careful about the unblockable from the bubble shield and the specials. You can do the same with Warlock as well. Warlock can block him from healing and also bypass the Lazarus node. Same, you can go with the Ultron after his buff. He is a really degen machine against your mutant, so he can kill off Old Man Logan very easily. And also, to avoid that arrogance node, you can bring in Professor X. He, after 25 cerebro charges, he does not miss, or he cannot be evaded. So those are some good options here. All you need to do is to just be careful about the falter, and the Lazarus node will come into play once you are about to knock him out. He will regain 20% health for 5 times for amount of charges, and then he will die. But if you bring in a heal blocker champion, you can also bypass that. I hope you guys enjoyed the video and you found the tips and tricks helpful, and it helps to clear this path. If it did, guys, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on those post notifications. All of that really helps me out a lot and helps me grow the channel. And apart from that, guys, I hope you all have an amazing day, and I'll see you next time.